this video is 1000% experimentation for the most part. Let me explain. Let me explain. All right, so I'm going to use coconut milk. I already said that, right? I'm going to use some black garlic. This is a curry blend. Got a little coconut oil, oleo, depending on where you're from. I'm going to start using my vintage cleaver more. And I have a piece of swordfish. Some people say swordfish. Now, I'm also going to use a clay pot. By way of aromatics, I'm going to use a little bit of celery. And look, this is all live. This is not a recipe at all. This is all just based on principles of cooking. And I'm gonna use about that much celery. And I'm gonna look and see if I have an onion. I'm really hoping I have some lemongrass in here. And you know what? Instead of using the onion, I'm gonna use a French shallot. A shallot. Now, in Cajun Creole cooking, we say green onion, and we call green onion shallots. But green onion is not shallot, totally different. The French call this little onion a shallot. You spell it the same way. Now, I didn't show you this in any of the past videos, but celery is very fibrous, and that's how you get the celery hair or fiber off. You just insert the tip of your knife, a millimeter, but we like the fiber. So now I'll show you how to julienne your celery. So you just make a few sticks, like yonder, like that, and now we're gonna dice it. And this is more of just a super small dice. I like to dice everything small because I think when you dice it small, it helps with caramelizing better. Also, you don't look like a lazy cook, rough chopping everything. Everything don't need to be rough chopped. But guess what? I'm not gonna tell you how to do your thing. All right, so we got the celery diced up. And what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build this dish based on some of the ways I've done non-official curries in the past. I'll get my bench scraper out and dirty some of the dishes with the bench scraper. You know I'm not dirtying no more dishes. It's not gonna happen. Now this shallot, you do it the same way you would do an onion, and that shallot is dried out. Ooh. Just found some lemongrass. How you like that? If you haven't used fresh lemongrass, then where you at? All right, let's see. Okay, this shallot might work right up. Oh, that's perfect. See that little beautiful little, yep. Now, there's a lot of ways of doing it, but what I like to do is cut my lines, my horizontal line first, and then I'll do the top lines. And I'm not worrying about speed, and I'm gonna do a little dice. Don't worry about speed, right? Just worry about doing it the right way. And the reason you don't worry about speed is because the people on TV, they're not you, and you're not them. Bench scrapers will help preserve your knife and the sharpness of it. And also using a honing steel in between preparation will also do the same thing. It'll maintain your edge. I know you wanna leave me, but I refuse to let you go. Now I have a piece of ginger. If I gotta beg or plead, and the best way to clean ginger is just to use a spoon. But if you like in a real rush, just gently do your best to square it up as much as you can. And don't worry about it, because that little skin ain't gonna hurt. That little skin ain't gonna hurt nothing. But some people think this is wasteful, and I agree. But it just depends on your time. What do you have time to do? And I could have did a better job at that, but all right. So now what I'm gonna do with this ginger, same thing. I'm not gonna cut a vertical line. Oh, okay. Let's see. And then you just dice that up. The smaller you cut, the easier it is to process. Now what I'm gonna do with the ginger, I'm gonna put it in my mortar pestle. And I'm trying to stay off camera because I don't have a shirt on. And I know y'all don't want to see this black bear. And I'm gonna get a little bit of garlic from out of the freezer. I'm gonna use I'm gonna use one piece. I've never used one piece of garlic. And one of the nice things about freezing your garlic is, watch this. I don't want to do that with my knife. Not this knife. Yeah, I don't want to do that with this knife. So I'll just take the pestle. See that? It's already minced, you know? So now I'm going to put that garlic in the pestle. And I did say we had lemongrass. So I'm going to take a piece of this lemongrass. Yeah, this one right here. Pull that out like that. Put the rest in the refrigerator. And when you're using lemongrass, you want to use the bottom of it. You want to use the bottom of it. See inside there right there? That's what you want. This isn't the best representation, but it's going to work. I promise you that. This was not the best piece of lemongrass. So sometimes you could lose product in the cooler, but this is very fibrous. And if you don't know what fibrous means, look it up. I'm just playing. All right, so I'm gonna do a little dice on this as well. Now, there we go, just like that. And I'm babying that vintage cleaver because I love it a little too much. And I want to pass it down when I go. All right, so now I'm gonna mortar and pestle. Get in there. Now I'm gonna mortar and pestle. I wish you could smell this. Hold that hog now. All right. That's good, just like that. Clean off your pestle. And that's good enough for what I'm doing. Just like that, right? And to just let you know, I didn't really need to wash my hands, but I don't mind my hands being wet as long as it's wet from water or beer or bourbon or scotch, or you get the point. All right, so now we have our aromatics pulverized, and let's get the next step going. So for the next step, I'm gonna do what they do in India. So let's get over y'all. In India, they do this method, and they call this method the Tarkin method. Man, thought I had that thing when I covered it up. So I got my clay pot. Well, actually, this is sous chef's clay pot, and it needs to be dry. And I thought I had it all dried out with this heat, but we're gonna improvise a little bit, a tea bit. Now, when you do the Tarkin method, what you want to do is you want this to be dry, and you want to fry or toast lightly your spices. And what that does, the toasted spice has a little bit more complexity than the non-toasted spice. So this is really common. This is really common in certain applications. I'm gonna just throw a bay leaf in there like that. Now that bay leaf ain't gonna do nothing at all, but make me feel better about my roots down here in the South. Bay leaf ain't gonna do nothing. But watch this though. We gotta get some more heat on that. And let me open up. And I'm really thinking this is gonna be way too much of coconut milk for this dish. Always rinse your can and give it a shake before you add it. All right, let me get a little bit more heat because I don't like how slow that's taking. We trying to get somewhere. And I know y'all ain't got 17 hours to watch me cook one piece of fish. Perfect. It will rust your can opener, but you know, it's not a bad practice to rinse it. You know what? This bay leaf is a little fragrant, and I do see water still down there, but I'm gonna toast. It should be dry, but I'm gonna toast. I'm gonna toast this curry blend. Now, in most curries, you have at least 20 different spices, and that's what gives curry such a wonderful. I remember the first time I had curry, I fell in love, man. It's like eating your first shrimp, your first fried shrimp po' boy. You know, it is such a beautiful thing. I'm not going to use the black garlic since I already added the white garlic. Stay black, brother. I forgot just that fast, you know, and I went back to cultural things. See how we smoking? Give that a little turn. And you just want to smell this. When this becomes fragrant, you toast it. And I can smell it enough to know that that's good. Now, we're going to add a little oleo. And this is some coconut oil. Man. And I'm gonna add the rest of the aromatics. I might need to add a little bit more coconut oil. And this would be a good time if you had like, man, that smells so wonderful. Now don't take my word for it, but I do what people say. I do a really good fish curry. All right, that's perfect color. The fragrance. Now y'all know I'm missing one thing that I did not add. What's the one thing I did not add? Leave it in the comment section. Let me turn that heat down just a little bit because I don't want that to burn. Now I want this spicy, so I'm gonna add 1 habanero that's from the freezer, just smashed, and I'm gonna add 1 Thai chili. This will make you sweat, I promise you that. That's it. Now, this is gonna be super spicy. Add that coconut milk to it. This is not gonna be for the faint of heart, I promise you that. Normally when I cook 1 pound of white beans, I'll add 1 habanero. And normally when I add my peppers, I'll just bust them and add it like that. I don't really add, I don't dice them up or anything like that. So I'm really excited about this. Now, you know, I did not add any salt to it. I didn't add any salt. And typically I don't like to add salt or spices to liquid. But added some salt. And I know y'all like to watch my salt intake. That's why I did it like that. Also, I told y'all we was gonna cook some beef meat today, and we are. It's just I haven't did it yet. I still got to ride my bike 2 hours, 20 miles, and you know, trying to get it together. I do have tomato sauce, but I wish I just had 1 Roma tomato. That would do me good. So whenever I do curry, I love to add either a Creole tomato or a Roma tomato to it. But I'm just honing my cleaver after using it to maintain that edge. Ooh, that sucker like a razor. All right, so now we're gonna do something very important. We're gonna add that piece of swordfish. I have never eaten swordfish, so this is a first time for me. And I asked sous chef to cook this. But it's a beautiful piece of meat. It does have a little skin on. I don't have a problem with that because I don't see a bloodline on side of that. It almost feels like tongue. Lingua. I wish I would have had a little bit more liquid, cooking liquid. But that's gonna be a wrap. So we're gonna let that simmer. So I'm gonna turn that to like number 3. Now I'm gonna put it on number 2. And we're just gonna let that simmer till the cows come home. And just to let y'all know, we do have the Dish Rack Olympics, the Dish Rack Summer Olympics going on in the house. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I am not a happy camper. Now, y'all know I'm getting old, man. But I forgot to add the celery and the shallot. Man, how did I make such a rookie mistake? Because we all make mistakes, man. So just own your mistake and roll with it. Don't act like y'all don't make mistakes either, all right? I told y'all, every time I mess up, you're going to know about it. Because that's live recording. And the channel is always going to be authentic. It's never going to be staged, and it's going to be authentic. Or I'm going to stop making videos. So now, I really would have liked to have browned that a little bit. I'm going to just knock this down so that this can all infuse. Tell you what, Bo. Tell you what. What you said? Okay. I want all that liquid. And what I may do later, because I can. Okay. What I may do later is I may remove the bay leaf and the hot peppers and then just put my immersion blender right there and blend all of that up. But that'll be later. So I'm satisfied right now with that. We're just gonna let that cook. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the Dish Rack Olympics fixed. I'm gonna wash all of the dishes that I've just dirtied to prepare this. And then I'm gonna get the ugly pot and I'm gonna start rolling on that beef. Be right back. Thanks for watching. Y'all come back now, you hear?